A 16-question test is now deciding how well Mumbai's auto and taxi drivers can communicate in Marathi. Maharashtra's Marathi-Language requirement for commercial drivers has moved from a government order to on-ground enforcement.
Well, drivers are being tested on basic Marathi, and those who fail could face action from the transport authorities. But does a language test really change the way drivers communicate with passengers, or does it simply add another layer of compliance for thousands of drivers? Our principal correspondent Disha Yadav takes us to Mumbai streets to find out what drivers as well as passengers make of this new rule in the state. Take a look.
For these drivers in Maharashtra, the journey begins at the Regional Transport Office. The test has 16 questions focused on practical Marathi communication. The objective is not to turn the drivers into Marathi scholars. Rather, it is to ensure that they can understand and respond to basic passenger interactions. But sitting across the table from an examiner can be very different from sitting behind the wheel.
Yesterday
itself, RTO officials took my Marathi test, asked me basic questions related to passenger and driver communication, like where would you like to go. I answered everything correct, so no notice was issued to me.
Not every driver finds the test easy. For those who have spent years working in Mumbai without being comfortable with Marathi, the requirement presents a very different challenge. For them, this is not simply about passing an examination. It could determine whether they are considered compliant with the new requirement and could directly impact their livelihood.
I was issued a notice by the RTO. They asked me all 16 questions. I could answer some correctly, but I couldn't answer a few. They have now asked me to learn Marathi over the next 1 month, return to the RTO with the notice and answer the same set of 16 questions again. I'm a cancer patient as well. I don't know if I'll be able to learn within short span of time. I've been driving for the last 20 years. But in all these years, passengers have mostly spoken to us in Hindi. I've never really felt the need to learn Marathi because passengers don't usually communicate with us in Marathi.
Once the driver leaves the center, the real test begins. Because the government is not regulating a classroom. It is regulating what happens on Mumbai's roads between a driver and a passenger. A passenger gives a destination, asks a question, changes the route, or even clarifies a fare. For the government, basic Marathi could make these everyday interactions easier. But here's the catch. Mumbai streets are multilingual, and passengers don't always communicate in Marathi either.
I have been communicating with auto and taxi drivers in Hindi my entire life. I am not saying that knowing basic Marathi is wrong. Of course, it is good to know the local language, but I don't think it should become a criterion for someone's livelihood. I have never faced any issue communicating with drivers during my rides, and personally, I am more comfortable speaking in Hindi than Marathi.
Transport officials say the requirement is communication in the state's official language, and enforcement has now begun. Drivers are being checked and notices can follow where requirements are not being met. Regional Transport Office teams issuing 1-month notices to those who fail to answer satisfactorily and warning that the badges of these drivers could be suspended if they continue to fall short. On the first day of the drive, 85% of the drivers tested in Mumbai metropolitan region were found to have satisfactory Marathi skills. And this statewide drive will continue till September 30th this year.
But for taxi and auto drivers, the real test is not about the language. It is the test of compliance, livelihood, and at the end of the day, identity. With video journalist Om Prakash, this is Disha reporting from Mumbai for WION World is One.